I thought I understood superhero matchups until I analyzed what would happen if Omni-Man fought Dr. Doom, and what I discovered completely changed everything I believed about preparation versus raw power. So in this video, I'm going to reveal why it isn't even close, show you the one factor that makes victory impossible for one of these fighters, and expose the shocking difference that ends this battle before it even begins. And trust me, what you're about to learn will change how you look at every superhero battle comparison. But before we get into the real meat of this fight, I need to show you why Doom has survived encounters with cosmic tier threats. This reputation didn't come from nowhere. When I started digging deeper, I discovered something truly terrifying about his intellectual capabilities. Considered to be one of the smartest men on the earth, Doom's high-level intellect rivals his sworn nemesis Reed Richards. But here's what makes this even more dangerous. While Reed Richards uses his intellect for heroic purposes, Doom applies the same level of genius with zero moral restraints. When he restored the Thing's human form, something even Reed struggled with, it showed precision that goes beyond normal scientific understanding. His track record against cosmic beings reveals something most people miss. He leveraged his scientific prowess to steal or replicate the powers of cosmic beings, such as the Silver Surfer, the Beyonder, and even Galactus's world ship. We're not talking about fighting these entities head-on. We're talking about reverse engineering universal level of power sources through pure intellectual superiority. But there's something else that sets Doom apart from every other genius villain. His approach to problem solving doesn't rely on a single methodology. Where other scientists might focus purely on technology or purely on theory, Doom integrates multiple disciplines simultaneously to create solutions that shouldn't be impossible. Moving on to something that could completely change the rules of this engagement. It's an advantage that most people completely overlook when analyzing Doom's capabilities. As the leader of a sovereign nation, Dr. Doom often visits the United States or the United Nations for political reasons and enjoys diplomatic immunity. This isn't just legal protection, it's a strategic weapon. When Captain America himself had to act as one of Doom's bodyguards during a state visit, it revealed how his political status transcends typical villain classifications.
You seem a little tense, Nick.
I don't like this assignment, and neither should you.
For once I agree with Fury.
And for once I agree with Hawkeye.
You might be playing the part of the Latverian dignitary right now, but you've never needed a bodyguard in your life. Why are we here?
A very dangerous enemy has placed a price on my head. The Cabal.
If the Avengers are incompetent, why did you ask for us?
I didn't ask for the Avengers, Captain. I asked for you.
Even heroes are bound by international law when dealing with a legitimate head of state. Doom has reshaped Latveria in his own image, renaming both the capital city and castle to Doomstat and Castle Doom respectively. He monitors citizens from Castle Doom and uses Doombots to maintain order, but the crucial detail is that his people genuinely adore him despite his tyrannical reputation. This means any attack on Doom isn't just an assault on any individual. It's an act of war against a sovereign nation with advanced defensive capabilities. There's another dimension to Doom's capabilities that could fundamentally alter any confrontation before it even begins. The time platform is one of Doom's many creations, and using it gives him the ability to travel through time. This led to many memorable events, as Doom can't seem to resist creating alternate timelines every time he uses the platform. But here's what really caught my attention about his temporal abilities. The time platform allows Dr. Doom to travel into the past and set up a new reign under different circumstances. Consider the tactical implications. Doom can go back in time, adjust a timeline per his specifications, set up shops as a ruler, and then utilize his new era as a base of operations. Having to beat Doom on his own terms instantly puts any opponent at a tactical disadvantage. This isn't just about preparation time. This is about rewriting history itself to create favorable conditions. When facing an opponent like Omni-Man, Doom could theoretically travel back decades to study Viltrumite weaknesses and develop specific countermeasures. There's something I discovered about Doom that reveals why he's more dangerous after each defeat than most villains are after their victories. When his lust for power led him to sacrifice his long-lost love, Valeria, to demons for magical powers, he gained the equivalent of years of sorcery study instantly. With this power, he trapped Franklin Richards in hell, immobilized Doctor Strange, and neutralized the Fantastic Four. When Reed freed Strange's astral self and they outsmarted Doom, provoking his demonic benefactors to take him to hell, most would consider this a crushing defeat. But here's what makes Doom truly terrifying: his response to failure. Even when Reed took control of Latveria to dismantle his equipment and planned to trap them both in a pocket dimension, Doom found a way to transfer his spirit into Sue, Johnny, and Ben simultaneously. Reed was forced to kill Ben to stop Doom, showing that Doom's defeats become learning experiences that make future encounters more more dangerous. Moving beyond technology and politics, there's another aspect of Doom's power set that reveals why he survived encounters that should have destroyed him. Initially trained by Tibetan monks, his magical powers were later enhanced by his lover, Morgan Le Fay. This isn't someone who dabbled in magic. This is someone who received formal mystical education from some of the most powerful beings in existence. After Doctor Strange relinquished the title of Sorcerer Supreme, he acknowledged Doom's potential to assume that role. Doctor Strange, the premier magic user in Marvel, considers Doom qualified for the highest mystical position possible. His magical mastery enables him to cast powerful blasts, create mystical shields, curse others, and summon demons. The magical spells Doom casts grant him additional powers including energy absorption and projection, technopathy, dimensional travel, and healing, plus he's able to summon hordes of demonic creatures. Magic potentially offers solutions to problems that engineering can't solve, and Doom has access to both toolsets simultaneously. The combination of science and sorcery creates tactical options that pure technology simply cannot match. Where technology might fail against certain attacks, magical defenses can compensate. Where spells might prove insufficient, technological solutions provide backup alternatives. Now, let me show you what I found when I analyzed the other side of this equation. Understanding Viltrumite capabilities goes far beyond individual power levels. The Viltrumite race didn't become galactic conquerors through luck or superior numbers. They developed a systematic approach to universal domination. Viltrumite physiology grants them extraordinary durability, enabling them to endure extreme physical trauma with minimal injury. Their bodies are highly resistant to most forms of damage, including high-impact collisions, ballistic weaponry, bladed attacks, and powerful energy blasts. Whether exposed to the vacuum of space, searing heat, or catastrophic explosions, Viltrumites remain largely unaffected. But what really shocked me about their expansion methods was the biological component. Viltrumite genetics are incredibly potent and adaptive. They can reproduce with a wide range of species, with Viltrumite DNA overwhelmingly asserting itself in offspring. As a result, children typically inherit predominantly Viltrumite traits and often appearing and functioning almost entirely as Viltrumites. This isn't just conquest, it's genetic assimilation on a universal scale. The more genetically compatible the mate species is, the faster and more reliably the offspring will manifest the full range of standard Viltrumite abilities. When I researched how Viltrumites actually expand their empire, I discovered something that puts their individual capabilities in an organizational context. Their world-conquering committee had 3 broad divisions that reveal the sophistication of their approach. The Scouting Division searched the stars for planets with intelligent life at their tipping point. The Viltrumites were smart because they knew ruling over entirely backward races had no glory, and fighting highly advanced civilizations might be fatalistic. They chose targets at the precipice of major progress. The Outpost Division set up watchtowers in several star systems they were earmarking for invasion. This allowed them to monitor targets, dissuade other interested parties, and mobilize forces efficiently. The Ground Division comprised either soldiers or scientists depending on a planet's response to their offer. If a target would accept their offer, scientists would advance civilization with Viltrumite technology in exchange for complete loyalty. If their offer was rejected, soldiers would descend and systematically eliminate all resistance until complete submission was achieved. When I researched the upper limits of Viltrumite power, I discovered something that puts Omni-man's abilities in proper context. Cecil Stedman even stated that Conquest is the strongest Viltrumite they'd encountered, suggesting he could potentially defeat Nolan. This means there are Viltrumites operating at power levels that exceed even Omni-man's capabilities. In a display of sheer brutality, Conquest used Invincible's body as a weapon, slaughtering civilians on a beach and throughout the city, causing widespread destruction and mass casualties.
I don't want you to miss this!
Enough!
The force of their clashes generated shockwaves, underscoring the staggering level of Conquest's strength. He was even able to break Invincible's leg and hand with a single punch. But what really concerned me was learning that Conquest was so powerful, he leveled part of the city by flying directly into Invincible.
Shit.
He effortlessly shattered Adami's energy constructs and ultimately killed her with a single devastating punch through her stomach. This brings us to something that completely changes the scale of what we're dealing with. When I looked into whether Omni-Man could actually destroy planets, I found something remarkable. It took the combined might of Thetis, Invincible, and Omni-Man to destroy Viltrum with a destabilized core. Viltrum has 1.25 the gravity of Earth, and Thetis said that they actually could have died if they messed up their charge toward the planet. While they can't easily destroy Earth-sized planets alone, Invincible, Omni-Man, or Thray could destroy a moon or small planet like Mercury. But there's something else I discovered about Omni-Man's combat efficiency that reveals the scope of his capabilities. Once inside the Flaxen home dimension, he used the Flaxen leader's body to destroy multiple buildings, killing the leader in the process before continuing his rampage. This wasn't just strength, it was psychological warfare combined with devastating efficiency. Moving on to something about Doom that reveals why conventional defeat methods don't work against him, the alien ovoids inadvertently taught Doom how to psionically transfer his consciousness into another being through eye contact. He rarely employs this ability due to his ego about his appearance, but when he does use this power, the implications become terrifying. If his concentration breaks, the transfer can revert, but during the possession, he has complete control over his target's actions. This means even a physical victory against Doom might not eliminate the threat if he manages eye contact during the encounter. The psychological impact alone becomes a weapon. Opponents must avoid not only his technological and magical attacks, but also direct eye contact. This limitation restricts their tactical options and creates openings for his other abilities. Against a straightforward fighter like Omni-Man, this mental discipline requirement could prove decisive. After analyzing everything, I realized that this fight has dimensions that go way beyond just power levels and tactical capabilities. When Omni-Man faced his son Invincible, he utterly dominated the encounter. He tossed Mark around with ease, punching him across continents. At one point, he even used his body to slice an oncoming train in half, resulting in mass destruction and casualties. His overwhelming strength was further demonstrated when he launched Invincible to Mount Everest, causing an avalanche, and then slammed him into the ground, creating a massive crater. Nolan nearly beat Mark to death before ultimately choosing to stop. The psychological impact of this level of dominance becomes a weapon in itself. But Doom brings his own intimidation factors. Doombots present a tactical advantage with his mind replicated so far as they recognize themselves to be the real Dr. Doom. Except when in proximity to the real Doom, the Doombots can cast a wide net of attack, appearing in multiple locations at the same time. When I started looking at actual combat scenarios, I found something that reveals a crucial factor most people overlook. In space, Viltrumites are capable of faster than light travel, crossing vast interstellar distances in a matter of weeks without the aid of technology. This isn't technology assisted. This is purely biological capability. Their reflexes, agility, and reaction times are equally heightened, enabling them to outmaneuver most opponents in combat. Some individuals, such as Anissa, have demonstrated superior speed even among Viltrumites, easily outpacing others like Nolan and showcasing just how varied their abilities can be within the species. However, as a Viltrumite, Omni-Man's ability of flight is aided by very delicate equilibrium in his inner ear, which can be disrupted by a specific frequency. This puts any Viltrumite in crippling pain and prevents them from flying. It can even kill them if the frequency is played intensely for a long time. When I analyzed how interstellar capable beings conduct warfare, I discovered something alarming for Earth-based defenders. While still needing air, Omni-Man can endure weeks holding his breath and likewise can survive the vacuum of space unprotected, allowing for unaided interstellar travel. The battlefield can be anywhere in the solar system. Doom's technology accounts for space operations through his armor's life support systems, but his tactical framework assumes certain limitations that Viltrumites simply don't have. All of Latveria's defensive systems, prepared environments, and technological advantages become theoretical when your opponent can relocate the fight to Jupiter's orbit within minutes. The scale differential creates problems that even Doom's level of engineering hasn't been designed to solve specifically. Most of his preparation strategies assume confrontations occur within range of his support systems and backup resources. This brings us to something fascinating reasoning about both fighters' approaches and why certain factors become absolutely crucial. Dr. Doom can go back in time, adjust a timeline per his specifications, set up shop as a ruler, and then utilize his new era as a base of operations. Having to beat Doom on his own terms instantly puts any opponent at a tactical disadvantage. But I discovered something troubling when I examined deployment timeframes. Doom often uses Doombots, his robot doubles, to retroactively explain his actions or erase events from his history. His success often involves extensive preparation, contingency planning, and multiple phases of execution. Dr. Doom's most dangerous weapon is his genius-level intellect. Intelligence becomes devastating when it has time to analyze, plan, and implement solutions. But this expertise has specific requirements that may not always be available in every encounter scenario. The matchup ultimately comes down to something that determines every aspect of the encounter, but I can't reveal what happens without showing you one more crucial factor. There are elements about both fighters that most analysts completely miss. Nolan possesses an incredible healing factor, allowing his body to recover from injuries in mere minutes, or at most within a few days depending on the level of harm, with no lingering side effects. We're not just talking about taking hits, we're talking about rapid recovery from massive trauma that would permanently disable most beings. But there's something else about how these two approaches to power actually interact when they meet, something that changes everything about this analysis in ways that most people would never expect. The truth about who would emerge victorious depends on variables that go way beyond what we've discussed here. The answer isn't what most people think it would be. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see why Omni-Man vs. Gambit Jack is not close, click it now.